my own concluding remarks. So could we have about 2 or 3 questions? Yeah. Can you just mention your name and from where you are, and then to whom you are also addressing the question?
Uh, my name is Eliza Fatima, and I'm a student of international relations. My question is directed towards Dr. Asif Khan. Sir, in your presentation, you mentioned that the world is facing two main issues, that is overpopulation and climate change. However, in most underdeveloped countries where there is lack of awareness, especially on grassroots levels, overpopulation is not even accepted as an issue. In fact, I have even heard some experts say this, that it is perceived more of a mishandled resource allocation issue. So, how do you view this?
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'll put a small correction into this question. I didn't say it's an issue. I said it's a challenge. So there is a difference between issue and challenge. So population growth is, of course, one of the challenges of the future, because we need more water, food, and energy, and shelter, and every other facility to be provided. So this is on one hand, and on the other hand, we have like challenges in front of us in terms of climate change, which is also going to alter the water, energy, and food. And of course, if we take appropriate actions, then we can cope with it. Thank you.
There's another question over there.
Hello, my name is Safa. There is an intersectionality between exponential population growth as well as climate change. However, the problem, as you mentioned, is not that we don't have enough resources. Of course, we do. It's about the unequal distribution of them which causes the problem. So the thing is that the water use per capita in Pakistan is much lower than that of someone in the US, but yet we are the ones who bear the brunt of the environmental consequences of climate change, not them. And yet these countries can so easily choose to opt out of like major climatic pacts. They opt out of Kyoto Agreement, the Paris Agreement. So is there any solution, any practical solution that we can possibly achieve without the cooperation of these large countries that are the major contributors to climate change?
For me?
You're quite right. The global north is responsible for the emissions, and the global south is suffering the consequences. But without a multilateral agreement, it is not possible to move forward. We have to work under the UNFCCC, and decisions at the conference are taken by consensus. So unless there is consensus, we cannot move forward. What we can do and need to do, therefore, is to strengthen our resilience. We call out for climate justice, and that's a good thing to do. But like I said, that doesn't mean that we will get that justice or get it on time. So we need to have a plan of our own. What is our plan B? How can we strengthen our own adaptive capacity? And there are a lot of ways in which countries can at least minimize risks. And Pakistan also has a lot of options available. And not everything is dependent on external finance. I think that's a very easy cop-out to say, if we get the money, we will do this. There are a lot of things, and I can just point out to a few to say gender empowerment, for example. Your 50% of the population that you underutilize doesn't need external finance. It just needs the social space and equal access to opportunities. And if you do that, maybe things will change. So there are a lot of things that can be done. Investment in your human capital that we have not done. Yes, regionally also we can do a lot of things to improve the economy, but the choices lie with the political decision makers and the people who elect and bring such governments to power.
May I add something to Madam's response? Of course, I 100% agree what Madam said about this query. But to me, like, it doesn't matter how to cut the pie. Either if it is going to be like the reduction in resources or increase in population. So the overall resources and population ratio is going to make a difference. So what we meant to say that justified and proactive approaches are always going to provide us win-win situation. So if we foresee that there will be population increase and there are going to be like the challenges from the climate change perspective, so what we are projecting in terms of water resources, for example, most of the researchers are showing that the flows are going to increase up to 2050, but there will be a sharp decline afterwards. So one has to do like really good proactive actions and approaches for such a sharp decline afterwards. And of course, like this population growth is going to happen in the region, and one has to get prepared for that. Hope this answers to your question. Thank you.
My question is about sir, my question is concerned about Mehndi Shakil. I'm a student of IR. Sir, my question is, about the looming of food crisis. Sir, your keen interest and very comprehensive lecture is going on. Your deliver on. Sir, when I will import our wheat crop from other countries, Ukraine, Russia, and our farmer is just to surplus, and government is not to pick up on the given rate, appropriate. Sir, my opinion is that when the planning is going on very timely, and keeping in mind the weight requirement in our neighbor, especially Afghanistan, is just to any further restriction is imposed, the wheat is there. And the agriculture university, academia, farmer and government official is the between the establish a happy marriage just to produce and fruitfully enlarge in our food crisis. What is your opinion? Especially in the crisis of not giving a rate of farmer.
My opinion very clearly that this is a right decision at the wrong time. Government has no business buying wheat, but government did it at the wrong time because they should have done it last year. Or you do it the way India does. In India, they have a support price for 28 commodities. There are 19 universities which are delegated the data part. They every year come up with historic trend and projections, and they also do the cost of production analysis. And on the basis of that, the government announces indicated price at the time of sowing. It happens at the time of sowing. So the farmer knows that what is the potential profit in it. And then when government buys, it buys every grain. In Pakistan, on an average, 29 to 30 million ton wheat is traded every year. Government actually intervenes with only 4 million ton procurement in Punjab and about 1.5 million ton by PASCO and little bit 0.5 million ton by Sindh. So a total of about 20% of the total commodity. But that stabilizes the price. But what happens to the rest of the grain? And the way government does the procurement using section 44, 144 and arm twisting, pulling grain out of the godowns or padolas and वो जो है उनके घरों से निकालती है. This is not the way to promote a commodity. In case of maize, in case of rice, in case of potato, government is not issuing any incentive, government is not buying anything. Those three crops are booming. So let the government walk out of wheat. In 2 years' time, it will stabilize. Or people will know what to do next. Yeah. So government ने ये ठीक डिसीजन लिया पर गलत टाइम पे लिया.
Excellency, this is Sarfraz Korejo, member of this institute and from Shah Abdul Latif University, Khairpur. My question is from Professor Dr. Ikrar. Sir, to my sense that it is total failure by state as a whole and higher education institution in terms of community awareness program. Don't you think that we as a state engage the mass in awareness programs and degree awarding programs. So this is my question, and very little brief. There is a video viral address by Shahnawaz Hasan regarding Motarma's ensure about the rights of the farmers. There was the bumper crop of the onion at that time, and the same situation as we are facing the wheat. But she directed to the Secretary Food that I can't tolerate the loss of the farmers. So just enlighten. Thank you.
We have to decide whether you want to run the commodity competitively on technology and through market forces, or we run it by politics. That politics has its own merits and demerits. End of the day, I've given you the comparison of wheat with corn and rice. You can also, take another example, popular decision. The popular decision was made by Pervez Ali in his 2002-7 that he froze the water charges. कि हम 150 रुपया फी एकड़ लेंगे, doesn't matter. वो 150 रुपया फी एकड़ लिया और सारा irrigation system बिठा दिया. Who is paying for the maintenance of irrigation system now? So irrigation system was, the Abiana was designed by the British people on the basis of share of commodity. कि वो अगर 8 मन यील्ड है तो उसका 25% या 20% जो है 2 मन दाने उसके बराबर जो है वो उसका आबियाना होगा. अगर वीट की 32 मन यील्ड है तो उस हिसाब से 8 मन दानों का जो है वो आना चाहिए आबियाना, जो बनता है 32,000 रुपया. आप आबियाना ले रहे हैं 150 रुपया. 150 रुपया लेके आप कैसे इरीगेशन सिस्टम चलाएंगे? यही हो रहा है इस ग्रेन स्टोरेज के साथ. और इस ग्रेन स्टोरेज का बेनिफिशरी कौन है? आप पता करें कितने आम किसान जो 90% है इस मुल्क के, वो बारदाना लेके जाके गले पे बेचते हैं. कोई नहीं बेचते. आड़तिए और उनके व्यापारी इकट्ठे करते हैं या फिर बड़े लोगों की बिकती है. और उसके बाद उसमें जो करप्शन होती है फूड डिपार्टमेंट की, फ्लावर मिलों के साथ जो उनकी नेक्सेस है, ये तो सारा फ्रॉड है. बहुत अच्छा हुआ, गालियाँ पा रही हैं गवर्नमेंट को. आपको पता है कि फ़खर महमूद साहब मिनिस्टर थे, उन्होंने बयान दे दिया नेशनल असम्बली में कि गंदम हुई बड़ी है, पता नहीं किधर गई है. ठीक है, उन्होंने ये कह दिया था और सबको पता है वो किधर गई है. अच्छा, फिर उसके बाद उन्होंने कहा कि ठीक है हम डैशबोर्ड बनाते हैं. डैशबोर्ड बन गया. अब अगर डैशबोर्ड पे डाटा था कि गंदम हमारे पास 4 मिलियन टन स्टोर में है, तो फिर इंपोर्ट क्यों हुई है? वो 4 मिलियन वहीं के वहीं पड़ी है और 3.6 मिलियन जो इंपोर्ट होकर बिक गई है. तो ये इसमें से बाहर निकले. लेट द मार्केट फोर्सेस वर्क
on. I'd like to close this session by thanking the panelists for a very comprehensive coverage of the topic. And I think it is very important for our countries, the adaptation strategies in particular. We are a vulnerable, Sri Lanka and Pakistan are both very vulnerable nations. We have, it's poverty stricken as well. We have lots of areas that are, will have the impacts of climate. We've seen it and it's a reality. So we need to, as was pointed out by Mr. Khan, research, data collection is sometimes we are grappling with no data, and I think as a research-oriented organizations, as people from university systems, young people who are here, data collection, I can't reiterate how important it is to keep on collecting the data that we require to make decisions, and also to have strategies in place for adaptation. I think it's not going to happen. The loss and damage funds, etc., are available, but they are slow in coming. So we need to strategize and we need to get prepared and prepare our communities for exigencies that are arising. And it is a reality, so we need to work together on this. And the word cooperation came out, partnerships came out. I think these are really important across the region for us to work together and exchange information on whatever that we can work together on. So thank you very much, and I think we've taken a couple of minutes more than we were given, and thank you very much for inviting us to take part in this discussion. So I'd like to close this.